Oh boy, do I love how this all works so perfectly. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rise Up, where we talk about responsibility, integrity, service, and empathy in action. And what I like to say, learn what's going on in the world and the difference that I can make. Today is another special. It is the me and Naria today. Ricky has some errands, and Iris has another schedule this morning. So we are here to give you a special show. And we have just me and Naria, like I said. And I'm going to give us the first story here. And then we're going to go into a happier story, go into my talk, and then Naria will share some exciting activities that we're doing, at home and abroad. And give you some updates on especially the Billion Trees project, which we talked so much about before. So let's jump into it. I'm going to share my screen. And this works. Oh, am I not able to share my screen? What happened? Let me try this. Okay. Okay. Well, first is, as always, the United Nations. We have some news here. They recently unveiled a new plan to end ecological destruction, preserve and protect nature. So I think maybe you've heard of the UN Paris Agreement. I think back in a few years ago, they signed. Many countries, participating nations, signed a document to agree to limit climate change in the world. And so similarly, they drafted this plan called the Global Framework for Managing Nature through 2030. So this whole topic is around biodiversity. I think we've touched on this before, and there's a nice little video that kind of describes this. But essentially, because of climate change or pollution, certain species could perish and actually become extinct. Now, in some cases where there's a lot of biodiversity, meaning a lot of species of very complex environment, like in the tropical jungles and places like this, then it may not have too much of an impact. But if in certain areas, like in the coral reef, if you lose even one or two species, or a whole genus or family of species, then it can destroy the entire ecosystem. And so this is a very grave concern. And they're even calling this a Paris-style UN agreement, meaning it is of such magnitude that requires the whole world to kind of get behind. And so some of the main points in it talks about reducing extinctions dramatically, tenfold, because currently, we are losing so many, like a large percentage of our species across the world. And then, educating about valuing nature, and then having goals that are measurable and achievable by 2030 to reverse this trend. So this is quite an important subject, and I hope that we can, you can take a look at it. You come to this website, this page here, we can put in the chat as always. And right here, you can click and see the draft itself to get an idea of what is coming down the pike from the UN. So take a look at that. And my next article is over the Mississippi River. What you see here, I mean, at first glance, this kind of looks like a golf course, like a mini golf course of some kind. But actually, this is land for bison.
Actually, Miilhan, I think you got to switch the screen there. We're still seeing the other article.
Right. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. You didn't see the golf course I was talking about. Oh no, not that. Here we go. share. Come on now. Uh-oh, what's it doing? It's giving me trouble.
Some technical difficulties this morning.
Here we go. There we go. All right. Okay. So as I was saying, here we go. Do you see this here now, Naria? See what I'm tracing here?
Max
sees it too.
Yeah, he's back here.
So what you're looking at is it's not a golf course or a mini golf course. This is a path that bison or buffalo can travel across the Mississippi River and, expand more land, or they can roam. And I thought this was such a cute idea. And apparently this is the longest man-made wild life bridge, expanding across the Mississippi River. And what's so cool about this is that it doubles as like, this is a video down here, and I stopped it right at this point where this is a schematic. This is not real life yet, but you see the buffalo are traveling across this pathway people can kind of walk back and forth across this bridge also. So you can it's like a giant nature reserve, or I don't want to call it a zoo, but for little kids, they might see it that way. So what a cool idea that, again, reminding people of the importance of preserving our environment and seeing the animals. So hopefully they don't destroy these. I don't think they would, these fences, or go the other way, but I thought this was a cool idea. But then again, maybe there's something I haven't thought about, or maybe someone out there might see the other side of this, but hey, you never know. And looks like we lost Naria, but so yeah, I'm curious. Please comment. What do you think about these different articles I just shared? Okay, with that, I'd like to now go into my Hyojung talk. And today I want to share a quote with you. And this quote is from Doris Lessing. She is, she's always been, she's a writer, fearless. She lived in, I think, Zimbabwe, and as a young child had to deal with a lot of the apartheid, kind of racial discrimination. She herself was white, but was not quiet about the injustice that she saw. She's quite a heroic figure, and the quote that I'm quoting her on is, "Things are not quite so simple as always as black and white." I'll pull this up too, actually. So here it is. Things are not quite so simple always as black and white. I think this is a really important quote, and I think many people have heard the expression, like, you can't judge a book by its cover, or but this quote goes deeper than that. I think it's not judging a book by its cover, but understanding that there's nuance and there's complexity behind what might look like black and white, two different extreme points of view, or positions on a certain topic, but it requires a bit more time to understand the nuance. And there's many cases like this. I mean, whenever someone speaks very extreme about a certain topic, I mean, there's a good chance, and in most all cases, there's a much more complex and many sides to that story. But at the same time, you need to be loud in a certain opinion just to be heard. Unfortunately, that's kind of how we are. So here's an example. And so if you would have talked to me maybe a few weeks ago, and you were to kind of ask me about my thoughts and opinions about man-made climate change, you might be surprised, but I would say I'm not sure if I believe that. But I also tell you that I'm not sure that I don't believe that. So, because from someone like me, I grew up in, in an environment, if you will, of people who didn't really believe that. So I've heard both of the extremes. You might say I heard the black and white extremes about this subject. Some people think it's a hoax. The rest, then a lot of other people, a lot of scientific communities say that it's not a hoax. It's like irrefutable fact and science that's measurable and seen today. So I had to kind of look at these two, like how can these both sides be so confident about their position when they're complete opposite of one another? And so I had the opportunity to look into this a lot further. And what I found was that both sides had some truth to it, because there is like and the reason is because of the extremes that are being portrayed. For example, I think for the side that does believe in man-made climate change, a lot of the hysteria, the drama, entertainment, Hollywood, whatever, it's like they paint this picture like the world's going to end, or if we go up a few degrees. When, as it turns out, the world's not going to end, but the damage is really bad and almost irreversible at some point. We wouldn't go extinct as a human race, but it would be terrible. It wouldn't be great for us. So I understood, like, okay, now I understand the more specific impact on climate change. And then you look at the other way, then you can try to understand the kind of the efforts being made, and kind of because a lot of times the side who believes it's a hoax, I think that fundamentally that's an incorrect point of view. However, they do tend to point at the inconsistencies, maybe the less effective approaches to mitigating climate change, and that kind of justifies their position when actually it doesn't. But so I can see this is a whole global ecosystem, economic, political, etc., that is involved when it comes to mitigating climate change. And but it took me like several hours to kind of get over that hump, to start to see the nuances of the situation. Okay, here's my point. My point is that, again, things are not black and white. At the same time, people present their extremes to get your attention, because a lot of times, unless they present something intense, then you don't even pay attention to it. So hopefully next time you see extremes on a certain subject, let it excite you to dig deeper and to understand for yourself the nuance and the complexity of what's at hand, so you might be the one to come up with a win-win solution. So that is my talk for today.
Thanks, Miilhan. Sorry, kind of disappeared there. The little guy wasn't so happy. But yeah, that's a really good point. I never really thought about that, how like the way that people can catch people's attention, it really is when they put that like extreme example or like point of view. Because I'm for one, I always like try to see both sides, and it's very true. If you don't look into it, then you actually find there's truth to both sides. It's not just black and white. But the point about how if it's an extreme thing, it does catch your attention. Like I never really noticed that personally myself, but that's actually pretty true.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a fundamental problem because, like, for example, good news doesn't usually get a lot of reads, you know, it doesn't get a lot of clicks. It's not clickbait. Oh, in fact, like this Bison article, this Buffalo article that I pulled up. I mean, how many people realistically are going to open up this article? I mean, how many people really are interested, you know, to stop whatever they're doing to read about Buffalo? I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think the majority of people on this planet maybe are not as interested. But if they talk about something like something horrible happened, and then the whole world pays attention. So there's a word for this, not shock. Anyway, this is something we have to understand about being human. And but instead of thinking, oh my God, he's wrong, they're both wrong, they're all crazy. No, say, okay, now that you are aware there's something going on, take some time, look into it, and be a peacemaker, like Naria over here. See, look at that, just making peace.
I think more like technology distracting him. Everyone's watching
technology
their pouty little face.
Use technology to make peace. Why not? It's all about that. All right, that's it. I don't know if you want to comment about the biodiversity draft plan.
I think it's a really good idea, and definitely when we talk about conserving and also taking care of the environment, and if we're planting trees and things like that, biodiversity is kind of the hot topic now, but definitely something to always consider, because only like taking care of one species or like one plant kind of thing, that doesn't create the right balance for our environment. And that's why biodiversity needs to be considered. So I think that's great. I love the highway, the Buffalo Bridge highway idea. And I think some places have those like green highways where basically it's just a bridge with like plants and grass, and animals use it to get over like major highways and human obstructions. So we think we need more of those, or to like plan those.
I just think it's cute. I hope it really works. I hope this Buffalo really do. I'm sure they will, but they did their research and all that. Yeah, it'd be cool to have the kids see those buffalo run across. All right. So now we're going to go to Naria. Speaking of biodiversity, we do have some great projects that we're working on for YSP worldwide. So please report on those things.
All right. Well, let me see if I can successfully screen share while taking care of a kid and also monitoring the live stream. All right. Wrong one. Okay. All right, we're gonna double up here.
Hey.
Okay. So, do you see your screen, your face with this, or
it's both of us? Both of us is good. I think, you know.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So, do you see the big full screen now?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So this past weekend, Miilhan and I actually went out to do a service project and also to network, and it was really cool because we met a lot of really neat people who are involved in many different organizations and groups when it comes to the environment and river conservation. So this is in a local town near us, Patterson, and this was a Passaic River cleanup for the City of Water Day, which was started in New York, but also New Jersey is now a part of. So we met with representatives of the Passaic River Coalition and also the Appalachian Mountain Club. And Miilhan, you can maybe introduce this person. I didn't get to meet him, but you did.
Yeah, this person, I don't have his name on me, but he works for the sewage system throughout the whole county. And it was good talking to him. You know, he just talked about some of the issues that this even between the cities, they have all these different municipalities that they serve, but they don't always talk to each other or deal with the issues, which it takes a more united effort to really make a difference. But I also had a chance to talk about Hyojung, and you know, he has some couple of kids, like teenage kids, and the challenges we're facing with COVID and trying to navigate that. So it was really cool to bond and, you know, pick up some trash. So It was really great.
Thanks. Yeah, actually, I think you were bonding with a lot of different people. It was that was kind of a neat thing with like just picking up trash next to someone to start a conversation as you're cleaning, and got to meet a lot of different people. I think there's roughly about 30 people from many different groups and organizations, including the Patterson Green Team, the Silk City Anglers. They were there as well. So I really enjoyed that, the volunteer opportunity, but also the networking opportunity. Oh, and I think this is the mayor, right?
That's right.
Mayor Patterson. So he also came by. All right. So there's some international updates. So YSP Peru, they had like they created a platform opportunity for young musicians to perform. So they reached out to many up and coming young music groups for an online concert. And actually, they got like a thank you letter from the government of Peru for creating such an initiative. So that was a neat thing. YSP Venezuela, they had a Service for Peace cleanup project in their city. And in Benin, I think I might have mentioned it before, but there was one YSP representative going around to touring to different colleges and universities, and basically teaching about the YSP curriculum and offering to like connect to the young people and different like YSP activities. This is a picture, I think, in a city called Paraco, and sorry about that. And he was able to meet with like the spiritual leaders and also the king of Paraco about the what YSP has to teach and offer, and they're really inspired about our like basically our core like values and integrity, and so he was very happy to have him there. Burkina Faso, they had a huge event with more than 2,000 people together to help with an environmental cleanup project, but also to get together for sports. So that's a neat idea to combine those. So you got the cleanup going on, but also some fun activities that young people can enjoy. This is in Cambodia. So they have a regular online, kind of like a broadcast where they teach about the different sustainable development goals. This one specifically is on poverty. So their goal is to bring awareness to the people of Cambodia what the sustainable development goals are and all its details. So that's a really cool initiative that they have going on there. And YSP Philippines. So I'm going to highlight this one a little bit more because we're also helping to support this one project. They have actually a lot of different things going on, but this one specifically is the Billion Trees Project. So between the months of May and July, they had 6 different projects in different barangays and provinces. And this is kind of the breakdown. So in May, they had 100 seedlings, June 1,580 seedlings planted, July another 100. So from the time of March, a total of 9,330 seedlings were planted. And I think for the July one said that their budget was 7,000 Filipino pesos, and we converted that, and that's roughly $140 US dollars, and they were able to plant 100 seedlings with that. So we're doing our fundraiser here in the U.S. Through GoFundMe. So whatever money is donated through our GoFundMe page for the Billion Tree Project is going to go. We're going to transfer over to YSP Philippines so that they can continue planting their trees. And so far, we have 205 raised. Our goal by the end of this month of July is 5,000. Yeah, Max is excited about this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we encourage you to donate. Even $1 goes such a long ways for them in the Philippines. So yeah, anything helps. So I think that's. I'll put the link in the chat. But yeah, it's really exciting to see what they got going on.
Yeah, it's just a few dollars, and I think it was between $1 and $4. I know you mentioned that for $104, it was 100 trees. So it's about what, like $3, whatever the math is. Between $1 and $4, plants a tree and raises up a youth in the Philippines. So I mean, and every tree helps Mother Earth kind of replenish or can reduce the carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, so we can have a cooler Earth, a little bit more in line with the natural climate change. And maybe you saw I donated a little bit, and it felt really good because it's not easy for me to plant a tree, but it's over in the Philippines, they have a super well, and Nari mentioned this before, but they're doing such a great job, working locally with all the different municipalities, understanding the biodiversity, the different species of trees for the right climate in the areas around, and engaging the youth there to encourage local development, community building. So it is so cool what they're doing over there, and I'm so proud that we can promote this cause and encourage each of you to give something. Whether it's $1 just to say you did it, or you want to give 20, that would help very, very much. So please consider. And thank you for all the other things that are happening. And it's cool, guys. We are part of a global community. So we want you to join us. You can join by going to our website, yspUSA.org. Click the join button, follow the instructions, and be a member today. And you can be a part of this global community. So I think with that, we're going to close this out. Thank you for joining us today, and see you next week on Rise Up.
All right. See you next week. Bye. Wait, Max.
Bye, man.
Bye.